What if the life that you've been praying for is on the other side of the standards that you refuse to raise? Your current life is giving you feedback, not judgment, feedback. Your habits, your relationships, finances, the environment. These decisions that you make, these things are the standards that your life is producing. Oftentimes, we think that we want a new life, that we need to change. What can I do to change my life? And the real question, or the question that we need to be asking ourselves, is who do I need to become to be able to handle the life and that I see that I want to have, or the life that I wish or I've been praying for. You know, we made it, man. This is fruition. It's easy, I want to say, to ponder on the idea that, if I just, if I just made an unlimited amount of money, if I just had, never made a mistake, right? That, life would be in a different place, right? And really to just think about, what is life to me, or what is life to you? Really to ask for more, or to want more, or to, I don't want to say necessarily desire more, is not being a good steward to what we have already. You know, we may not need another opportunity, right? We may just need to make a decision. We might be just a decision away for living a life of fulfillment, in abundance, versus looking at a life as chance or luck, or from a place of lack. I give you an example, right? Each each decision, this is peeling back the layers. Each decision, like a fork in the road, that I can go back from age 40 on back, brought me to this point in which I am at right now. Every one. I say this is fruition because we made it. We made it is not, the arrival. The we made it is who we're becoming. It's the mindset. Okay? Every turning point, every fork in the road brought us to this point. Okay? And to look at it from a place of lack is saying that, I want more. I want That's not being a good steward. That's not taking care of what you have or holding on to what you got. You understand? So when everything is on a hike to become the best version, the highest version, to live on that height, that higher self, to become that. That's not saying that I want I don't want no parts of who I am, because every part, every fork in the road, every mistake, okay, every situation, every trial and error, every fail, right, is a part of your makeup. It makes you who you are. That's authenticated. Okay, that's an experience. That's what life is, the experience. We don't it's like starting off a race to run the marathon just to get to the finish line. Like the aches and the pain and the sweat and the blood. That's what it's about. The running through the rain. The suicides, the sprints. the losses, the lessons, the learning. That's what this is about, you know. And you know the the it's not a fact, or it's not the point that we don't want to be better, to become that better, highest version of freedom, to become free. Everybody wants to be free. I hope. I want to be free. I want that. I want that freedom. But that's not to say that I'm not loving it. I'm loving every minute of it. It's got to be all good if I gotta choose a side to it. You understand? And that's a part of that's a part of knowing. That's the understanding. To understand that every moving part, every fork in the road got us to this point. So it's not always that. The question isn't what do I need to do to change my life, right? And to achieve the highest, the unlock, the other side of this thing, right? It may just be a decision away. You understand what I'm saying? The life that you're looking for, it might not be a mere fact of, you know, needing something new. It's just the point of needing needing to really factor in what it is that's in it, what my truth is and what's in my way of becoming the highest version of myself. Because a lot of times we make excuses and we put it on the outside source. I know, you know, change becomes real when tolerance change. Think about that. You're it's the things that we tolerate. The things that we tolerate is the standard or the bar that keeps us limited. I wrote a note. Um, you don't transform because you got motivated for a week. You transform when certain behaviors, environments, and excuses become unacceptable to you. Let's sit on that for a minute. You know, um, it's like you can my me personally. I never liked it. I never wanted to be. Well, who does? That's the elephant in the room. No one wants to fail or make someone unhappy with them. I believe that I took that to an extreme at a certain point in my life where I didn't want to. I was a people pleaser. I didn't want to say no, to my family. I was in my relationship. I wanted to be Superman. As a dad, I wanted to be Superman. As a son, I wanted to be Superman, right? And you start conforming yourself to the or submitting yourself to the will of others. I give you an example. Um, you almost teach someone how to treat you, and your tolerance becomes your tolerance to how do you call that? My tolerance to someone's what word am I looking for? When someone for your tolerance, I became tolerant to someone else's feeling. Man, why did it just blew my mind? What was that? Like when someone feels entitled, someone feels entitled to a certain version of you, right? Because what you accept as being the norm, being a man, being a strong man. You want to you want to be the superhero. That's the society of being a man, right? You got to be Superman. You're the X-Man, right? You're the Black Panther, right? And people start taking you for granted as if you're only as good as you are resourceful and such, right? And now you accept probably the bare minimum, as in you got to suffer in silence. You got to be in pain but be in peace, right? Um, Suffer peacefully. You got to suffer in peace. All right. Um, Man, that's a that's a real thing. You know what I mean? And for a man or a young man to accept that as normal, or as that being the height of what his essence is and what he's good for. No, that's not real, and that's not even healthy. You understand? And you won't know, because that's the standard that you set, or has been set for us. And you accepted it. You submitted to it. You understand? Um, your future requires a different version of you. See, the question isn't, what do I want? The question is, who do I have to become consistently to be able to handle what it is that I say that I want or desire? That's where we talk about the highest version, or becoming the highest version. Okay, I want to be financially free. I want to live a life of peace, wealth, and health and fitness, right? And that looks a certain kind of way. That looks like going out you know, for the jog, for the run, and then training, swimming in the pool. Uh, that looks like coffee in a shop, reading the final call at 12 noon. That looks like taking a weekly meeting, meeting with a banker on Thursday. That looks like putting in my call, my setup for the stocks for the month on 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 the second Monday of every month. That looks like hitting the bank once a month. And you notice I didn't say waking up early to work on any job. Who do I have to become to, you know, be that part, to handle that life, to be able to handle that responsibility? If I say, the financial freedom that I want, how do I manage money? Am I the kind of person that can manage money well, right? If I want to have the weekend getaway with the romantic getaway, that lovey dovey thing, how am I with relationships? Am I the kind of person that can handle that, you know, that relationship, or that marriage, or that companionship, you know? Um, what about the swim regimen, and the running and jogging, and the health and the fitness? What am I doing? Am I the kind of person that can handle that activity? What kind of shape am I in? You know, um, all these things are all these things. You can say that. Yeah, it's easy to say. Yeah, I want that. What do I got to do to change my life to get that? Or that's something that I've been praying for. That would just be perfect. I would be fulfilled. If I could just have this here, if I could live like that. When actuality is this the standard of, the things that I do repeatedly, these habits that I have, that I need to change in order to become that version of myself that can handle all those things that I claim that I desire. What decisions am I willing to make to become that version? You understand? And that's like, that's where the real work is done. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, man. What are you currently tolerating? What are you currently tolerating that the person that you're becoming wouldn't? sometimes your breakthrough isn't waiting on an opportunity. It's just waiting on a decision to be made. A decision is like walking through that door and closing it. You know, all the rest of the doors down the hallway, they're obsolete. They're irrelevant. Once you walk through that door, you decided. You know, stop asking life to change while continue to negotiate habits that's keeping you where you are. Raise the standard, make the decision, become the evidence. Remember, we made it. It's not just about arriving, it's becoming. Man, I hope everybody has a truly wonderful, great everything. Peace.